Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. If you're just coming in, if you could please take your seat. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Again, good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining the Governor's Commission on Supplier Diversity. It is now 1 o'clock, and we will get started with the meeting.
Well, good afternoon. I'm delighted to be here today with all of you. Graham, can you start us off with roll call?
Of course, Commissioner. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Representative John Bartlett.
Present.
Commissioner Maurice Coates.
Present.
Senator Stacy Donato. Commissioner Ellen Dunnigan.
Present.
Commissioner Angela Franklin. Commissioner Dr. Rebecca Huerta.
Present.
Commissioner Elizabeth Kiefner Crawford.
Here.
Representative Joanna King.
Here.
Commissioner Nick Lunn.
Here.
Commissioner Darren Patterson.
Here.
Deputy Commissioner Keisha Rich.
Present.
Commissioner Carol Slager.
Present.
Senator Greg Taylor.
Present.
Commissioner Francis Vega Steele.
Here.
Chairman Gregory Wilson. State Director Nathaniel Lofton.
Here.
We have quorum.
Excellent. Well, again, welcome to the second quarter of the Governor's Commission on Supplier Diversity. Great to see our legislators and commissioners here and all of you. Last meeting I was unable to attend, so this is my first time with our new commissioners, and just really want to thank you for being willing to serve on the commission and really be part of such an important thing that we do here to be able to amplify the message of what certification is and how we can match minority, women, and veteran businesses to state contracts. Today I'm filling in for Chairman Wilson. Please keep him in your thoughts and prayers. His daughter recently passed away, so he is tending to his family's business today. So we do extend our thoughts to him. Everyone should have received some minutes from the last meeting last week. Are there any corrections to the minutes? Hearing none, they're passed.
Yes.
All right, so now we will move on to the portion of the commission meeting where we have our selected vendors give an elevator pitch. So for commissioners, if this is your first time, or those who have been here for a while, our staff selects 4 vendors to give an elevator pitch to you and to others in the room. These individuals have been selected because they have not done business in the state and are looking to work with interested parties in the room. And so first up, we have Fred Yakey. He is the CEO of 238 Properties LLC. He is an MBE certified vendor with our office. For all vendors who will be presenting today, you'll be given 4 minutes. A member of the DSD team will give you a minute warning when time is up. Thank you.
Good afternoon, and thank you all for the opportunity. My name is Fred Yakey, and I am the president, founder, principal of 238 Properties. And essentially, how did I get there? I am an educator, proud educator here in Indianapolis. And after serving youth, I got tired of losing them on breaks, and I thought that I needed to do something to impact the communities. So I had a vision from God, and I said, I'm going to build out communities with the abstract of using one of the principles of Acts, the 2nd chapter, verse 38. And I used a lot of relationships, cast my vision out there, and created a development company to build affordable apartments with community in mind, schools, churches. And unbeknownst to me, the Indiana Housing Community Development Association was looking to diversify a very white, male-dominated space of developers. They had a 9% tax credit program. And after presenting and hearing my thoughts, they selected me to receive a 9% tax credit deal for my first deal. What am I doing now? I'm building affordable apartments for women coming off of substance abuse. I'm partnering with Volunteers of America. I'm partnering with Seeds of Hope. I'm partnering with IMI and educational institutions because housing alone is not going to fix our epidemic. I'm building not only affordable housing for women coming off of substance abuse, but I want them to have their children with them. I'm building a preschool on there with St. Mary's Child Care because I'm an educator, and I also am building a health clinic on site. My pitch to you and where I believe I'm going around the country, that I am asking for educational institutions to not just serve the community, but be a part of building economically. If I can partner with institutions and we can use the land that you are educating, I believe that we can build dormitories for communities and families, and we can stop what is happening around America. And my experiences as a educator at Providence Christian Ray, I realized that this cannot happen without a revival of corporate, private, as well as urban dollars working together to solve a need. I believe this can be done. I'm doing it now. And I'm one to believe you don't need experience, you need vision. And the scripture says without a vision, people are perishing. You can turn on the television and you can see where that is at. So I want to thank you for your time. I do have handouts. I'm happy to share more, but I want to leave in enough time to honor the 4 minutes. But I also want you all to know that housing is not just a need, but I believe this is a right for everyone in America.
Thank you, Mr. Yaki. Commissioners, do you have any questions for Mr. Yaki?
Will you still be here at the end of the meeting?
I'll be here as long as you need me to.
I would like some interaction with you, that's why I asked. Thank you.
Madam Chair, thank you. I wanted to ask you, you said that you used a 9% tax credit. And so that experience, I have a little experience in that area. How did it go? Was your application approved? Were you able to receive the tax credits for syndicate?
Yes, it was a very competitive process.
Right.
About 100 people in the state were doing it, but they weren't just awarding it for affordable housing. To be honest with you, the team that I had was the reason why I received it. It was a very competitive process, and my development company was chosen because we were doing something beyond housing.
Okay.
Since it was awarded, it's been a very stringent process, 2 years in the making. And I have a lot of great people in this space that have been able to support me. I recognize I'm a canary because the state of Indiana needs me to win. So with the amount of supports that I had, it's been very informative to me and almost giving a blueprint almost. So with that blueprint, I want to make sure that I go to the communities that are often forgotten about, the smaller cities, and hopefully working with Kokomo, Bloomington, and other areas that are having deals. So that's been my experience. Happy to talk to you more about it.
Yeah, and where's your project? I mean, have you put the shovel in the ground yet for your tax credit deal?
Yes. 2 weeks ago, finally had my groundbreaking. It is on the southwest side where the old airport is at in Wayne Township, Mickley Avenue, 36 multifamily apartment units.
There you go.
And we hope to do a little bit more. My vision is not to do them large, but build enough resources. My next deal, I want to bring a bank and/or a grocery center in a community with affordable apartments, and I think that can be done.
It's in Wayne Township?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
No other questions? Great. Thank you so much, Mr. Yaki, for your time.
Thank you for your time as well.
Right, next up, we have Cassandra Williams. She is the president of Educational Innovation 360. She is certified with our office as an MBE and WBE.
Oh, there we go. Let's get this party started. Okay. Hi, everybody. Did you know that according to Learning Forward, it takes an educator 3 years to go from novice to highly effective? But what we can do at educationalinnovation360.com, we could do it in a year and a half. Hi, My name is Cassandra Williams from Educational Innovation 360. I'm the founder and CEO since 2018. We empower educators to innovate learning through, of course, literacy. Now, we ignite the flame in the next generation of teachers to expedite learning. So you know how principals struggle from year to year to keep teachers on track for learning? Say yeah. All right, here we go. One call and response. We got one down. We provide job-embedded professional development while they're at work for professional development. First, this is how it works. We do a needs assessment. So we walk the school, we identify the culture and the climate of the school. Then each teacher gets 6 to 8 coaching cycles with a 48-hour debrief on Zoom. Now, what makes this impactful is we get a bird's eye view of what everybody is doing in the classroom, which lends itself to the face-to-face PD. Each school gets 4 to 6 professional developments based on what we see the need is of the school. Now, we also give mini modules after every coaching session to ensure that teachers know exactly what the next steps are in their journey. Last year, some of the topics that came up, some of the needs of the school were positive classroom environment, call and response, culturally responsive pedagogy, tech integration, as well as inquiry learning. And we do all this through the lens of DEI, SEL, and of course, literacy. We use district assessments and NWEA to track literacy improvement scores only. Now, to tell you some of the benefits, one of the things we found is when teachers stay, when they are loved and their voice is heard, they want to stay. So we get teacher retention as some of the results, targeted professional development for teachers, of course, resources on demand, and then goals and PGP points at the end of the year to ensure that they're continuously working. And they get a monthly administrative view. The principal gets a monthly administrator update on what their teachers are working on. To tell you a little bit about my background, born and raised in Chicago, moved to LA, was a teacher, a coach, a content expert for District 2, where Los Angeles Unified School District, then moved to University of Kentucky. I was very pivotal in programs like Wired and P20, then moved to Indiana, opened 2 schools in the greater Indianapolis area. I was chair of Africana Studies, as well as from time to time I teach for the College of Education at IUPUI. I need your help. My goal is to reach 1 million teachers and to make sure before I leave this earth that no teacher is alone. So I think we could do this together to ensure teacher support and ongoing support for students.
Thank you so much. Commissioners, any questions? No questions? All right, thank you so much for your time.
No, thank you.
Next up, we have Daniel Alejos with Argent Concepts. Argent Concepts is certified with our office as an IVOSB, Indiana Veteran-Owned Small Business, and an MBE.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, when my father's family came to this country from El Salvador, they left basically everything behind. They, their extended family, they left their home, they left their culture, all for the hope of building something better. And I'm able to sit here in front of you all today and share this as a testimony of his success. I'm Daniel Alejos. I am the son of Jose Alejos, who is the CEO of Argent Concepts. We are a fabricator for countertops and cabinets. And we are here to help build a better future. Everyone who's here cares about building something better for our community, for our children, for their children, for our legacy. And we have built Argent Concepts to help facilitate that. We provide, we fabricate and supply both countertops of all variety, mainly solid surface and quartz, but we can provide a variety of different types of countertops. And we also are supplier of casework and custom millwork. We are in the process right now of greatly expanding our capacities to be able to assist with the volumes and schedules that our construction industry is facing in order to be able to facilitate the demands of our growing population and being able to better support and provide a better ecosystem for everyone. We had recently secured and are working on securing a top-of-the-line sanding tool for our solid surface facilities. It's one of the top ones only two in the country who do it for solid surface. And ours will be largest in the country. That will allow us to be able to automate these processes in order to better facilitate the needs for projects such as IU Health or any other projects that require more antibacterial surfaces or surfaces that are non-porous, that are easy to clean, which solid surface is able to provide. Along with that, we have very robust natural stone and quartz fabrication facilities, and we are developing even further on our casework. So we hope that we can provide you with the best tools in order to help build Indy to be the best state it can be. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioners, questions?
Yeah, Daniel, I have a question. Is most of your work directed toward residential or commercial work?
We have done a lot of residential work historically, but we have done quite a number of commercial jobs. We've been working with F.A. Wilhelm. We've been working with Pepper Construction. And that's greatly expanding, especially with our increased capacities.
With your growth strategy, how do you deal with the employment issues in terms of, staffing based on your growth and strategy?
So a big part, and that's a great question, because one of the big struggles in construction is the training, right? It's very refined crafts. So we have, like my father, he is one of the top stone craftsmen in the state. He's been doing it for over 30 years. And we have, in close collaboration with a number of the top expert craftsmen in the state, that we are also working on. Me personally, one of my jobs and passions in the company is to work with them in order to be able to synthesize all that knowledge and wisdom and be able to use some of our modern day technologies and tools to better disperse that, not just to our team, but to our community as a whole, through training videos, unique training tools. We have that's something I'm very much working on, using even like AI technology in order to better disperse that.
I'm glad you mentioned AI. I was going to ask you about AI.
Yeah.
Excuse me. One other question. So you do your own in-house engineering?
Yes. Yeah, we have some of the top people in the state who are our engineers.
Thank you.
Any additional questions?
I guess also based on your growth trajectory, do you see yourself partnering with other firms that allow for, that capacity growth as well? What do you see in that regard? And I don't want to belay the whole time.
That was a great question. We're very collaborative. We love being able to look at more opportunities to help others grow. We're very much a rising tides raises all boats philosophy. So we're more than happy to collaborate.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much. And we're not sure if this vendor is here just yet. Alejandro? All right. Alejandro Saucedo is the CEO of Indiana's Elite Cleaning LLC. This vendor is certified with our office as an MBE.
Who here actually enjoys cleaning? Don't raise your hand too fast because I might try to interview you and bring you in. But for most, cleaning is viewed as a mundane task. But for me, as a third-generation professional cleaner, I view it as a pathway of opportunity. My family was one of migrant farm laborers, and along my grandparents' journey, their hard work was recognized and they were offered janitorial positions in the local school corporation. This, in effect, allowed our family to come out of the fields. Since then, our family held true to the belief that cleaning profession was not a second-rate career. It is a pathway of honorable prosperity and community contribution. For me, I had a tough journey into the cleaning profession, but it was not via the farm fields. I followed a broken path in adolescence and into adulthood and actually served time. While ultimately I beat the streets through the power of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is how God led me to become the best version of myself. And as I set out on my entrepreneurial journey, I realized I could take my family's legacy, build it further than ever imagined, and honor my grandparents in the process. Today, I'm the proud owner of Indiana's Elite Cleaning. We provide outstanding cleaning services to our clients while creating a pathway to more prosperous life for our employees. In partnership with Innovation Labs at the University of Notre Dame, we have combined process mapping with a 3-tier cleaning cadence, quality control inspecting, 5S structures, employee engagements, measures, and team development practices to provide the best cleaning solution available in our state. All of this is just to say that we are darn good at what we do, and you should want to work with us. Feel free to contact any of our current customers, including the City of South Bend, University of Notre Dame, and Buckingham companies for a reference. While we value professionalism in the highest regard, this attribute assisted us in receiving the City of South Bend Small Business Grant through the Minority Business Development Council and through the Department of Community Investment. I have been honored to give numerous presentations in Northern Indiana on how to leverage entrepreneurship to create a better life for those in disadvantaged communities. The power of entrepreneurship positioned me to discover another greater power, and that power is supplier diversity. At Indiana's Elite Cleaning, we are driven and focused on becoming a front runner for our region and supporting minority businesses to scale and grow with the opportunities supplier diversity presents. IEC is dedicated to being that one-stop shop vendor so our customers can rest assured that their needs are being efficiently met by the same company. While we are thrilled to boost supplier diversity, we are much more than that. We are building community leaders that can leverage entrepreneurship to bring real change and have impact. At Indiana's Elite Cleaning, we are responsible for everything you see and everything you don't. And we are thrilled to have your business. And as my mother says, when you come into one of our spaces after service by our team, you know it's been cleaned. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Commissioners, questions? All right.
You should stay busy, I will tell you that.
Very, very
Cleaning
busy.
that goes on, yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
I think that's probably one of my most favorite parts of the commission meeting is being able to highlight the different businesses that are certified and just be able to hear what services that they offer. So there can never be the excuse of, I didn't know anyone who did that service. So I hope with the highlights of the companies, no matter where you're located or the services that are needing, that whenever there is the opportunity that you'll be able to connect with them and be able to use their services. Also want to make sure with the vendors that just shared that you're on Supplier Diversity's highlight reel of making sure with our social media channels and with what we do with sending emails out that we're able to help you advertise your services. So if Graham has not reached out to you, I'm sure he will be doing so in the next couple of weeks to make sure that we help get your message out.
Great. Thank you so much. Next up, we have the IDA procurement report, Deputy Commissioner Erin Kellum.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. As Keisha said, my name is Erin Kellum. I'm the Deputy Commissioner for Procurement. So my team is charged with assisting executive branch agencies for any purchases they make over $75,000. So what we do to run this report is we are pulling actual payments made to prime vendors that are certified. Because the state or the state agency has a direct contractual relationship with those vendors, we can pull very easily the data. Well, I don't know how to write the query, but I do know how to run it. We can pull how much money was actually spent for whatever time frame you want, for whatever prime vendor in the different certified areas. So as you can see, for the first quarter in 2024, that's how the numbers shake out. My team would track this even if you guys didn't want to see it every quarter, because we want to make sure that the efforts that we are undertaking to help encourage any business goes to the certified vendors, make sure the primes know that they don't only have to be subcontractors. If they have the capacity, we welcome the opportunity for them to bid on something and be a prime vendor. So any questions? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so for commissioners, we did go a little bit out of order. So now we will go to the state educational institution reports. First up, we have Indiana State University.
Good afternoon. I'm Brian Bromstruck with Indiana State University. I appreciate your time today. For quarter one, I want to start with construction conversation. And our construction numbers are down from last quarter, basically providing no XP support for the projects that were slated for general construction repairs. The bulk of these repair projects were for the pool, some parking lot and sidewalk work, cable replacement project, as well as an appliance upgrade going on in housing. And the bids were all normal primary vendors who were self-performing the work, it seemed. Most of our 2024 projects are just rolling out now into quarter two and starting to begin kickoff for the summer months. Now, of course, all of our 2024 projects are advertised with Mid-States Minority Development Council with IDOA, of course, several planning rooms we use, as well as been working with Diversifying to post opportunities. We are focused on going beyond individual bidding procedures for XBE on our normal bids. And a couple examples that we have here that are upcoming and ongoing. The Center for Technology project, construction manager held 2 XBE supplier events, one in Indy and one in Terre Haute for subcontractor support on that project. We are estimating currently with feedback from them 15 to 20% of the subcontractors should be XBE awarded, and emphasize that throughout our process with them from RFP into decisions on the construction manager and who that would be and their ability to support us. The other one is Early Childhood Development Center, which is slated to kick off maybe here end of second quarter, first of the third quarter, and is a combined project with Lilly Endowment and the Vigo County Construction Group. We are looking to be doing something similar with subcontractors although the construction manager for that project has not yet been decided. Generally, construction bids are shared and posted with Diversified. We've been working with them for 6 to 9 months now, and we always include XBE components in our bidding process. As part of normal procedure, normal bids also typically have a minimum of 2 diversity vendors on each bid. As for commodities and supplies, for this particular quarter, ongoing relationships on the commodity and supply side attracted about 9.5% spend, contributing the bulk of our weighted minority support at roughly 4%, and with individual women-owned spend at 6.5%, and a small amount of veteran services that align with our current trends that we've seen in the past couple quarters. On the professional services side, more promising numbers. Things are, at least for the women-owned business side, supplying about 37% of the average, or our average of 14.8%, mostly due to advertising and branding engagements that supported that project. And another 2.5% of minority spend with our Indiana State Small Business Development Center, providing support for area businesses in Terre Haute. An example of diversity search progress with our new brand strategy and marketing growth RFP for 2024. I just wanted to share this project vetted 8 primes with 3 finalists and 2 alternatives, and started with 24 diversity supplier vendor list. The project. Do you see that time?
Please go ahead
Question?
and finish.
Okay, thank you. The project returned 1 already on our list as a prime, 1 with conflict of interest, and 5 interested as subcontractors. So we sent out interested XBE supplier names to potential primes who sent the bid within the bid documents and stressed the importance of XBE subcontract partnerships in the communication. We also made the bid documents available on a public platform through Diversified, who also bid marketed on LinkedIn for an increased diversity audience. Through that process, Indiana State decided on partner of Simpson Scarborough, who is a WBE supplier, and who has also agreed to certify quickly.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry to go over.
No, you're fine. I have a quick question. Did you say that did you utilize Division of Supplier Diversity to advertise this bid on our platform as well?
On the construction side, yes. I'm not sure, to be 100% honest, I'm not sure on the marketing brand if that was or not.
Okay.
I would have to double check that.
Please feel free to reach out to us. We can
Sure.
advertise that.
I appreciate it.
All right. Commissioners, question?
Thank you, Madam Commissioner. One of the questions, I think I heard in your presentation, the 37% was met through an advertising and marketing company. Is that what you used to get that high number? The WB was a marketing and advertising
No,
company.
that was the individual spend for women-owned business was 37%, mostly due to an engagement that we were having with our advertising company and invoices due in this particular quarter. The weighted average was only 14.8%.
Right, but I was just speaking of the professional services. You said, it says 18 contracts. What were some of those contracts for? I'm trying to break it down.
Really, there were just 2. The one was the advertising and branding project, and the other was the
Okay.
small business center that we have at Indiana State that helps local small businesses in their growth.
And so,
And
okay.
all of those were minority spend.
Oh, okay. So
Well,
they were, what I was saying is correct. It was advertising and.
Yes,
just
sir.
small-
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
As a reminder,
phone. I just want to say that Indiana State percentage went up on the women's owned business, and I'm glad to see that all the percentages are going in the right direction. Even though they're not where we want them to be, we'd like to see them a little higher than the other two that I commend you on reaching that percentage.
Well, thank you very much, and it is our target. I'm new to Indiana State in the last 90 days. As a matter of fact, I think I was here for the last commission meeting, was my third day here. Worked very well with Kesha in getting some information, and it's been great to learn a little bit about the commission. And it is our target to try to do, as I continue to evaluate processes and procedures, try some different things that Indiana State hasn't done in the past to grow and repeat the women-owned side with minority and veteran-owned side. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Commissioner Vega. As a reminder to the state education institution representatives, you each have 4 minutes. Next up, we have Purdue University.
Good afternoon, Marie Davis, Purdue University. Our overview of the Q3 spend, as you see on the slide, I want to give you an idea of what the pie chart would look like for where the money is being spent. So the percentage of our total diversity spend is that square on the left, top left, and it shows you that of our total spend for diverse suppliers, our MBE was 38% of total dollars of diverse spend that we could count. WBE was 26% of our total spend, and veterans were 7% of our total spend that we could count. Those dollars equate to the following towards meeting our state goals with the weighted average. MBE's 3.61%, WBE's 2.8%, and veterans at 0.67%. You will see to the right of that where our spend is that we could not count for various reasons, which I am happy to identify for you. Several of them are certified through other agencies, whether it be Mid-States or WeBank or other agents, and not with the state of Indiana. Or some of them, as you will see, have about a $200,000 spend per quarter that have expired with the state of Indiana. So with those numbers being what they are, and with our goal always being to improve our numbers, even though we did see a slight bit of growth over last year, I want to thank, first of all, our strategic sourcing team and our sourcing analysts. In my very short tenure at Purdue, we've had a lot of conversations about how we move these numbers and all of the strategies and tactics to make that happen. They are the kind of team that never says no. They're all about solutions. So we are putting some of those into action, and I'll tell you about those. We do not have a portal. I wanted to make sure that everyone knows that. We do not have a portal. We do something called proactive sourcing, and that proactive purchasing is, as you see, when we have an opportunity that we are getting ready to source, they come directly to me. They tell me exactly how many XBEs we have in our pipeline that might participate. And then if we feel like more numbers should be in there to participate, then we source them independently and individually to find people that have capacity, whether it's going through our colleagues at other SEIs, working with IDOA to find other XBEs that could participate so that we can increase those pipeline numbers for people that maybe haven't done business with Purdue in a while or at all. So that is how we go about sourcing our new suppliers that might not have already had an opportunity with us or that have fallen off the radar. We're addressing areas that will increase the higher reportable spend by addressing the areas, obviously, that are affecting our numbers. They are certified by other agents, not the state. They are non-certified suppliers, expired state of Indiana suppliers, or they're a member of a joint venture or P3 spend that we are unable to count. There's also competition for diverse suppliers that have capacity that reach beyond our XBE engagement because they simply cannot perform on as many contracts at the same time, i.e. construction and some of the other bigger projects where they are just, quite honestly, at their capacity to be able to participate. One of the other strategies we have implemented, I want to thank Commissioner Lund for his encouragement to work with Mid-States and WeBank. We have engaged with them to get those numbers up there where we have agents that were certified with them initially to get them their state certification. And we thank IDOA and the staff for supporting us in those efforts. We are partnering with the Indianapolis chapter of Queen City Women in Business to convene certification accelerators so that people who want to be certified with the state can do so in small accelerators that meet their obligations as small business owners. And one thing of note that I can't take off the radar is that I'm sure if any of you read the paper on Friday, we're pleased to announce the Board of Trustees approved last Friday the Purdue and Indianapolis Academic Student Success Center. When this was published to IDOA, we were not able to announce that yet. That will bring $178 million. Sheil Sexton is the designated prime. And I personally look forward to the extraordinary opportunity for this and future projects on that campus for our diverse supplier family right here in Indianapolis. With that, I will take any questions.
Commissioners?
Thank you. Capacity.
Yes.
That's a term that's used. We could give it to this company if they had capacity. So do you ever suggest that if company A and company B, minority company A, minority company B, do not have the capacity, that they collaborate and submit that bid so that they will have the capacity? If you need 50 dump trucks and I got 30, but I know someone's got 20, can we collaborate and do that? Do you encourage that?
We do encourage partnerships among tier twos even. So if you're not the prime on a contract, but there's more work to do, and you could partner with someone to do that work, we're always encouraging that. Likewise, we have a tier one supplier that we felt could do more with their spend. And so we're bringing on board someone that's a tier two supplier to help support them in meeting their obligations to us, but they were previously not certified by the state. So we're really excited about them getting on board and being able to give them opportunity and being able to count their numbers in the future.
But if I'm the prime, but I only have those 30 dump trucks and I need 50, why can't I stay the prime and just get someone to work with me or someone else that's in their bailiwick to come on board and let me stay the prime?
Okay, can you rephrase that? I'm sorry.
In order for a business to grow, they have to get the jobs.
Mm-hmm.
But if I'm using these dump trucks, but I'm 30 dump trucks strong, but this particular job calls for 50 dump trucks. I cannot sustain 50 dump trucks. But I know Nick over there, and he's got 20 dump trucks. So I can pick up the phone, I know his work, say, hey man, I need you to partner with me. I'm gonna get this 50 dump truck, go after this 50 dump truck job with Purdue. Is that kind of collaboration encouraged?
Is encouraged, and it's always possible, because our strategic sourcing analysts they're looking not at an RFP not as a piece of paper, they're looking at it as multiple opportunities for multiple people to participate. So whether that's layering more people in so that everyone can participate, that's not uncommon. Okay. Because this is a mentor protege program, that's why we're all here. That's what my WBE thrived on. So without that, why would we be here?
Thank you.
Thank you for the breakout of your numbers. I like how you break everything out, also with the prime contractors who is involved in terms of current projects and such. Queen City, I think that's also a good company to collab with to really help with that development of the XBs in the process. I'm just glad to see it happening. I would like to see more, obviously. So who's the analyst company, I guess, that you're using, or is that an internal process?
It's our internal folks. Okay. We have a robust business analytics team, and so we're always looking at the why and where the data takes us. Yeah. And so as much as if someone doesn't go after work, even we survey them and find out, we asked you to be a part of this opportunity. Is there a reason why you chose not to participate? Because that's important too. Mm-hmm. If they're saying, this was out of our scope, are we reflecting that appropriately when RFPs go out? Are we making the scope approachable? Do people understand what it is? It could be that they have supply chain issues or workforce issues, but we don't want them to feel like they can't keep trying to participate. So the door is always open to everyone. And so we want to make sure that people are very aware of that we want everyone to have opportunity.
With the analytics that you have going on, is that something that's proprietary, or do you share it with your colleagues in terms of other institutions?
Well, all my colleagues at the other state educational institution, within our own organizations, I think we're all very data-driven. And I know I can speak for a few where we share our information with each other to see how we're progressing, and where the data is taking us, because very often we share vendors on certain projects. So it's nice to see, are we seeing the same things? Is it apples to apples, or are we dealing with different dynamics based on geography or what have you?
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you for your data discussion. I'm looking at your report, and I just want to make sure that I'm reading this correctly. You spent approximately $93 million over the quarter. And if you were to go up in the categories of commodities, construction, and professional services, if you take the first column and the second column and you subtract the non-MBE spend, you spent $26 million in professional services, but you've spent, and that was over 162 contracts. You've got 253 contracts and you only spent $800,000 with MBEs. That gives me a little pause. And the reason why is that this purely data-driven information, you had larger contracts with the non-MBEs, right? I'd like to know what your data analytics is gonna do about that. Because to me, it seems, and we, Representative Bartlett talk about bids. I think I've said this probably 100 times being on this commission. You don't have to bid professional services.
No.
You've spent $26 million and you haven't had to bid, yet you have $800,000 that you spent with minority-owned businesses, obviously at a lower rate. That doesn't jive. Because it seems to me the MWBEs are less, am I right? So if you were bidding, if we had a bidding requirement, the MBE would win. So it seems to me that the universities have found it more economical to spend more money for professional services per hour, per contract, than work with MWBEs and IVO, just by data, just data. That needs to change. It's just simple data analyzation for me. So I'm trying to figure out what we can do by looking at this data. Have you put something in place to address that issue? Obviously, you're getting better. What's the word I'm looking for? You're getting more cost-effective services from the MWBEs based on the amount of contracts you had and the total value of those contracts. Now, I don't know what those contracts are, but you had 162 of them with non-MBEs, and that could be for a lot of other professional things. Are we looking at trying to change, or is Purdue trying to look at trying to change that?
Yes. The
That
answer
was
is
a
yes.
lot. I apologize.
No, I followed you all the way through.
Yeah.
And we've had this conversation many times when I wasn't sitting at this desk, so I understand the intention. The answer is yes. In my short tenure here, there's a lot of questions. I ask a lot of why questions, because I'm learning our systems too.
Okay.
And but when we look at the numbers, we always want those to show active participation, whether it's direct sourcing or by bid. The business is still business. And
Right.
so there are multiple factors that we're looking at.
Okay.
I am also looking at doing more local sourcing for all of our campuses, because as one of the wonderful vendors who was showcasing their business said, it's about community. It's about enhancing your community. So what can we do in all those areas to build up those numbers with our Fort Wayne, Hammond, and now Purdue and Indianapolis campus, so that it's not just, one campus that is sourcing all these types of things. It's a community-based approach. So as we dig down deep to get better, that is one thing that we are looking at across all procurement.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's just, these numbers speak volumes on the professional service side. If you were bidding these, if you did an RFP, the MWBs would win every one. But you don't have to bid it, so you're spending more money on professional services with non-MBE companies, which to me is inefficient. So, but we can address that. I think you're not the only one in that box, by the way. Thank you.
Madam Chair, any questions? Thank you. Thank you. All right, next up, we have Ivy Tech Community College.
Good afternoon, everyone. Marcus Bickle with Ivy Tech Community College. We don't have, okay. So, as those who have heard me speak, I always kind of reference the fact that even though we are one college, we have 19 campuses. So I try to look at these from campus to campus and kind of try to give some praise to the ones that are doing really well and work with the ones that are not doing quite as well. So some of the successes is we had 5 of our 19 campuses that were over 20% MBE last quarter, and another 3 that were over 14%. And fiscal year to date, so for the 3 quarters, we had 10 campuses that are over 17% MBE spend for our fiscal year. So 10 of our 19, so we have 10 that are doing really well and 9 that are somewhere in between struggling and not doing quite as well as 17%. Our Indianapolis campus especially. So I looked at our numbers. It's always interesting because I looked at our numbers for the last quarter, and their MBE spend actually went down by percentage from 19% to 16%. But their spend went up $100,000 for the quarter. So always kind of look at that as a positive as well, as to say, hey, your numbers are still, your percentages are still strong, went down a little bit, but the total dollars that went out got, increased pretty significantly. So that's some of the successes from the quarter. Some of the efforts that we've had, we're kind of exploring different options with our campuses and how we do different events to educate our buyers. Since the purchasing is done largely at the campus level, we are working on getting all of the campus folks to understand what their role is. Our Richmond campus had an event recently where we had several members of our business office and our facilities teams, and we presented to them all of this information and to just continue to educate them on, hey, you guys are the buyers. These are the things that we need you to think about anytime you're making purchases. And then as a second part of that, we also worked with some local companies that the college does do business with that is not currently certified, to work with getting them certified. So that was a 2-part there. We had a Madison event. Wow, that was quick. That the IDOA team came down. I still need to find out why Keisha didn't come down, since Madison is your home, but we'll talk about that afterwards. And then our Bloomington and Sellersburg campuses also had events. We have also, the college recently put in a new ERP that kind of for our finance and HR functionality. And one of the questions that we would typically get from our campus buyers is, how do I know who's an XBE that's already in our system? So we added that functionality. So now all of our buyers can, when they're looking for a vendor that's already in our system, they can look up and know that, oh, okay, this one, I'm looking for landscaping. This is a company that's already in our system, and they are certified veteran-owned business, something like that. So that was functionality that we did not have. Okay. I will stop.
All right, thank you so much. Commissioners, Madam Chair, do you have any questions?
Yeah, you have in your policy or whatever to have your purchasing people to actively seek minority-owned businesses?
Yes.
Okay.
It is in policy, but I'll be the first to admit that some of the campuses are much better at making sure that policy is more aggressively followed.
So you're working with other state agencies as well to find out and recognize who's available?
Yes.
Okay, that's
Yes.
part of your culture and policy?
Correct, yes. This has been, as members that have been and listened to me tell this story many times, this has been a little bit like turning around the Titanic, in that it's just, have done really well in the past, predating me, largely because of our construction. We had a 2-year gap where, like many of my colleagues, we did not have construction projects. So we are having to re-educate, or maybe not even re-educate, educate our buyers that are not on our facility side. Like, hey, if you're going out and buying T-shirts, if you are going out and doing, recruiting, there are companies out there that in the XBE world that you can get a lot of these services from. So it's really been an education, and we're getting better. We're not to the end yet, but we're getting better.
Thank you. Sorry. Hey, you want to go first, John?
Oh, I get both.
I just had a comment. He's gonna be long-winded.
Can we split that
He's gonna
next
be
time?
long-winded. But
You two need to sit on opposite sides next time.
Your leadership, President Sue Esperman, understands the dynamics of all of this. And I think that has a tremendous impact on how Ivy Tech does. And so I worked with her as a state representative, and when she was lieutenant governor, and she went to Ivy Tech, and she's doing a tremendous job over there. I did read that she's going to retire, but she understands this process, and I think that helps tremendously.
I'll make mine quick. This just shows me that it can be done, period. For an institution that has less than half of our state budget, that struggles year by year for the state to support their efforts. They educate more students in the state of Indiana than our flagship universities, and you figured it out. You figured out how to make these things work. So I'm just looking for our flagships to follow your expertise. Maybe they should call you and do a development.
No.
I'm dead serious. No, I mean, seriously, your numbers in professional services, just because you tell your people who are in procurement in those areas, you need to seek out partnerships for these services. And I bet I'm going to put my reputation as a senator, I bet you're saving money. So I'm just telling you, you're doing a great job, and I want you to keep it up.
Thank you. Any other questions? All right, next up we have University of Southern Indiana. Commissioner Vega, did you have a question?
No, my system went down and I had to read.
Perfect, thank you.
All right, good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Jeff Spahn with the University of Southern Indiana. Wanted to go over our quarter goals. We actually had a little bounce back on both MBE and our WBE. We exceeded our goals there. Attribute a lot to our WBE from our construction. We're up in that 24% range, and that's due to 2 or 3 construction. However, that's one that's hindering our MBE. We're working locally to try to get some construction MBE companies that are able to do some tier 2 work with our primes. So that's one thing that we're focusing on is working on those relationship building with our prime, because we continue to see the primes are winning those bids. So some of our upcoming projects, I'll highlight the right administration. Even though it was professional services, we put out to bid our architecture on that. We had several XBEs come in, had 3 of the 4 finalists were WBE, and we went with the WBE. So good start to that project. Hopefully we'll be able to add some more XBE as we start bidding out that as well. So some of the summer opportunities, I wanted to kind of highlight a success story. I mentioned in our past meeting about a partnership with EREP and the Southwest Indiana SBDC, where they did a supplier development program. Well, out of that, we found that one of our mowing companies who had lost their certification became recertified through that process. And in addition, we found out that he actually owned a inflatable company. And so we've got a summer camp. My actual kids, 2 of them go there, and they're bringing in the inflatables next week. So that's some small, but a good start. And that'll translate. You know, that is our summer camp, but in the fall, we bring in the big bounce houses for the older kids as well. So hoping that those relationships continue with that, and we continue growing there. With that, you know, we're going to continue working with the IDOA. Every bid opportunity, we try to invite at least one XBE company. Doesn't always work, but if we can find that business that would fit the need, we do invite them. We're continuing working with the other SEIs, and then finally, we haven't hosted an event for a while, and so we're going to work with the EREP SBDC in the fall / maybe winter, and hopefully host either on campus or locally in Evansville. We haven't decided, but that'll be coming. So with that, that's my report for today. Welcome to any questions.
Thank you.
You have, I think you have a janitorial company in here that could be a part of that pitched this earlier today.
I did write them down. So that, in actuality, one of our main drivers is a janitorial company located down in Evansville that is MBE owned, that we started working with 2 or 3 years ago. And but we're always open to looking at other vendors as well.
Commissioners, Madam Chair, any other questions?
All right, thank you.
All right, next up, we have Vincennes University.
Just say. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Michael Morrison, Director of Purchasing Risk Manager for Vincennes University. Good news, our WBE numbers bounced back last quarter. Part of that was due to some professional services. And we had 2 marketing campaigns that's going on. One of them will continue into the 24-25 fiscal year, and that's with Borshoff out of Indianapolis. And then one of them that I entered into was with Asher, and we just extended that contract also into 24-25. Our upcoming projects, at the top of the list, we have Red Skelton Museum. It did go out for bid. Bids came in last week. We had, when we send out a construction bid for a project, we break it down into a general, and then HVAC or mechanical, and then electrical contractors. For this project, it came in over budget, and we only had 2 primes, 2 electricals, which is one is always our veteran-owned, that's also in Knox County, and then we only had 1 mechanical bid.
So Commissioner Coates, if I could get you to start an HVAC mechanical company in southern Indiana, Jeff and I would love it. Just throwing that out as an idea.
Yeah, we did some work for you guys.
Take that under advisement.
We did some work for you guys years ago. We kind of got away from it because of some other changes. Our focus went in another direction. But okay, I heard you.
Kind of hard to read. I put too many of them up there, but on the right are service contracts, and service contracts are something that strictly go through me for facilities. I work really close with facilities. I actually start on these probably at about April. Well, it's even tough for me to read. Good thing I got it here. You notice the top is always the HVAC for our various locations, and there's very limited XBE chance there, but you go to the second one, that's fire extinguishers, and we've been with partners with Geyer for about 5 years now. And this year I went out to bid and included them for backflows and fire service annual inspections, and unfortunately the bids didn't work out. We have our janitorial supplies and services are pretty much 100% XBEs that support us there. So this is my bread and butter that carries us through the fiscal year, is my partnerships with our service agreements with XBEs. Senator Taylor, if I may, when a request is sent to my office, supplies, professional services or whatnot, and that request is over 10,000, I have to bid it out.
Good. Okay.
Yeah. And you know, we've been very successful of awarding it to XBEs.
You guys have come a long way. I've been on this commission a long time. You've come a very long way in this sense. I'm just telling you, you guys, when we got started on this, y'all had some issues, and you guys have come a long way. No, I give credit where credit is due.
Okay.
And I'm giving you credit. Yeah.
Sometimes, now how I got to Asher is Asher provides digital marketing for the state of Indiana. Therefore, they're on the state QPA. And I'm allowed to piggyback on a state QPA. So I didn't have to bid that contract out, but it was under the threshold. My threshold, and we're all different here, is 100,000. So if I keep it below that.
Let me get that right again.
All my time.
So if it's over.
Sorry, Richard.
So let me understand what you're saying. So even if it's professional services, if it's over 10,000, your policy is to bid it out. Okay.
If it comes to my office.
If it comes to your office, I get what you're saying. Yeah, there's certain things that you don't have. Okay. All right. That's interesting. Okay.
Commissioners, Madam Chair, any other questions? All right, thank you.
I just have a comment.
Yes.
Can I comment, Lisa?
Yes, ma'am.
I did say that the area of mechanical contractors that he would like to see more in southern Indiana. I might suggest that you look at Indiana as a whole, because we have mechanical contractors in Fort Wayne and other areas that cover the entire state. So that might cover that issue of not finding someone in southern Indiana. Maybe you need to open it up a little bit more and look at those that cover the entire state and are willing to travel. Because I know we have one in Fort Wayne. That's all.
Thank you.
Good point. Thank you so much. All right, next up, Ball State University.
Good afternoon, Roger Hasensall, Director of Procurement at Ball State University. So we can start with, before I give you the projects, with the percentages. Ours are still low. In the custodial and commodity area, those, especially in the women-owned, is a little higher, over 10%. But when you fall into professional services in construction area, we still struggle. And we're going across many strategies to try to correct that. We continue to work at it. We continually change those strategies. We ask for outside. We just recently had a outside consultant come in and look at all of our practices and are reviewing their suggestions now. And for this next month, we have a committee that's reviewing what their suggestions are. in how they feel that we can make some changes or potentially reach various goals that we have. And one of those is our diversity spend. I will go with, we also do bid out our professional services, just so that is noted as well. We always have. We have looked at a different strategy most recently. We have actually set it really low to where we do our competitive bidding, and that apparently has not been working well. We always include a minority woman or veteran business with all of our quotes and all of our requests for proposals. But we're considering raising that threshold and in reverse, and that way in areas now where we're having to go out and competitively bid, we can go to a, hopefully if that's raised, to a diverse business and just say, we want to partner with you. So that is one strategy that we're moving forward with currently. We've had a couple of events coming up. Just to share some of them with you, in June, currently, we have the North Campus building renovations, a little over $20 million. And we also have our North Campus building renovation, our arts and communication, our music, and our theater. We have a CMC project going there, and that one is a little over $40 million. We have been working very closely with the construction companies and the CMC companies for them, and put out broad-based invites to ensure that minority women and veteran businesses are aware and they're able to come to pre-meetings and talk to those construction companies and try to set those partnerships up primitively. So that's one thing we're doing there. We also have our ballpark locker room buildings renovations. Those will go out somewhere around September, a little over $6 million. And we have our Ball Honor House addition going on. It's a little over $800,000. With that, I will open up for any questions.
Commissioners, Madam Chair, question?
So you said you have potential, or in terms of what I deem it as a sole source. That's what it sounds like when you describe, maybe working with one direct contractor for.
That is below thresholds of where we have to competitively bid. Sure. It wouldn't really be a sole source development, because at that point where you'd have to have a sole source is if you were doing the competitive bidding and then determined it's only that company you can go with. By raising the threshold, we don't have to go through that process. We can pick a partner and move forward.
What is that, what is your process look? Did you implement that already?
No, that is one of the consultants.
Threshold in terms of dollar amount?
That is one of the consultants, I believe, one of the topics that they discussed. And so we're discussing that right now. That would have to be approved on that. But it does look like that is a direction in which they may go. It's powers higher than me that will make that decision. But I do believe that is the way they will go.
Do you have a timeline?
The timeline would be as soon as these discussions are over, and it would be approved by our Vice President of Business Affairs. And then we'd move forward. I would say I would not expect it to go any more before they make that decision in the next 60 days.
Also, in terms of CMCs, do you work with smaller CMCs on maybe smaller thresholds overall?
We are working with these larger projects right now. We are working with Pepper Construction doing our village, which is a $100 million project, which is partnered outside of Allstate as well. And then we're working with F.A. Wilhelm on the current two that I spoke of, the North Campus renovations. So we're working with them particularly on those two. And again, we do that, have preemptive meetings and stuff with them on ensuring that they're doing diversity outreach events to get diversified partners in these projects.
I know Pepper is pretty decent at doing that.
They're very good at it.
I'm not sure about F.A.
They're pushing as well with us, so they're being good partners in the diversity side of it.
I have a question. The consulting company that you are working with to assist you with your diversity spend, are they certified?
They are not, and that is because we had to go through a bidding process. We went through a competitive bidding process, and then they were the ones that won that bid. But they have done a deep dive, I do know that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. My question's along that same line. Have they been helpful thus far as a consulting firm to get your numbers up?
They just completed the process. So we are now going into discussions with them. They'll do the official presentation here in the next couple of weeks. They just gave us back some preliminary information right now. So we have not received it all with them yet to discuss it with them. So I guess I would look at what their suggestions are and then what the administration takes in to decide to move forward with, and then I'll be able to give you an answer to that.
I'd truly be interested in the results of that. You're trying to increase minority, women, and veterans, but then you hire a non-certified person to do that.
We go through a process, and that's not a choice. We go through a process, a bidding process, and we do take the best and lowest. So that was not an opportunity where we could just say, we're choosing you and sole source it, because there's several consulting companies out there.
Isn't that a professional service? Thank you.
Commissioners, Madam Chair, any additional questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And as always, we save the best for last.
Thank you, Keisha. Good afternoon, and I feel like I'm being set up. I'm getting ready to find out. I don't have our spin numbers up here. I am more focused on leveraging this opportunity to present business opportunities on what we have currently, what's being forecasted, et cetera, because I'm trying to encourage the companies that are here to take a look at our opportunities, to look at the links where they can find our opportunities. So if you have your phone, if you want to capture that QR code, it does cover the entire slide for those of you that are savvy enough to do that. And that's kind of far away for me to read, so I'm going to speak in high, very general. The left side of that slide is for, I'll start with, for current IU public bid postings, go here. That's a link to what's being posted out there now, what's current now in terms of an opportunity. There's a little box there that says if you want more information, click on the support form. That is also a link. I'm trying to help you navigate on how you interpret this slide. Okay, I asked many of our purchasing staff in preparation for this meeting to give us not just what's out being publicly posted now in terms of opportunities, but also what are you working on? What recipe, what's in the oven baking, if I can characterize it that way. And they were very responsive. You see 10 business opportunities that are being forecasted within the next 3 to 6 to 9 months coming up that are being worked on. Some of those opportunities have dollar amounts listed next to them in blue. Some of them do not. There's one that's not on here because I just got it last Friday. It is for dental supplies. And if you look above the number 1, and there are a list of names of staff who contributed this information, their last name first and their first name last. And if you look at the superscript numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, down to 10, that staff member is the one that supplied that particular opportunity. So in order, and if you notice, I didn't supply email addresses because we're trying to track responses to anyone who's looking at these opportunities. So you want to look at the opportunity, see what interests you. Please ensure that you might be a good match for that opportunity. Look at the staff member's name and that number, match that name to that superscript number. Use the support form and reach out to the staff member for more information. To the right is all of the capital planning and facilities that I presented on the last quarterly meeting. That hasn't changed much. And it's all for fiscal year '24, 7 campuses, repairs and rehabs, below is down at the bottom there, for somewhere around $47 million. The larger projects are up above, all in links where you can get more information. And I'll leave it at there and see if you got any questions.
How's it going over at IU?
It's going. I want to hear from you.
Commissioners, Madam Chair, any questions?
Comment. What do old folk like me do that don't use QR codes? How do we keep up there?
You're sitting right next to a person that's a professional QR
No,
code.
how do I do it? How do I do it?
How would you do it? I'm sure they can teach you.
No, I don't put QR codes in my phone, so how do I track it?
How do you track it? Well, you reach out to us and we'll try to work with you, to be honest with you.
I have a question, just one that I see here. It's obvious to me that every university has their own bidding requirements at certain levels.
Sure.
What, do you know, and it's okay if you don't, Rich, do you know what the bidding levels are for Indiana University? Like if you have a professional service opportunity, do you say, okay, if it's over $250,000 engagement, we'll bid it out?
Mhm.
If it's under that, we can direct source?
Under 10,000, you can get quotes. 10,000 to 50,000, it might be publicly bidded and it might not. If it's like a sole source opportunity, it's all on our purchasing webpage, those policies for bidding stuff out.
That's professional services as well, right?
That also includes professional services. Now, I will say this, we are reevaluating how that's structured, because we're trying to be more flexible. The new Uniform Commercial Codes, federal codes have come out, and we're trying to make changes that hopefully will improve the flexibility for bidding things out and for quoting and for negotiating. And I can't speak to the specifics because I've been told it's not official yet.
Yeah,
but
it's understood.
But it's going to happen
Okay.
pretty soon here.
So you do have on your, is it this support, is it on this?
Support form?
No, it's on it here. Like if I were to go there and look at your website, it'll say, all right, if you have a contract under $10,000, you sole source 10 to 50.
So, no.
Oh.
You can use that support form to request where do you go on the purchasing webpage in
Okay.
order to understand the structures of the policies and the thresholds.
Okay. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I know the airport has done a fantastic job on working with larger CMs to partner with smaller CMs to help that collaboration in terms of taking on, let's just say you have a $100 million project, and then monitoring that process in a way where the reports are done so frequent that it allows for the true growth of that smaller CM firm, speaking professional services. Is that something that, quite frankly, all of the institutions, including yours, encourage? Do you know, any process with something like that, or is that something that's talked about and probably even looked into?
So let me cut to the chase on that.
Yeah.
I'm talking to XPEs about doing joint ventures amongst themselves. We've got the entire fabric of trades that are represented by XPEs. And what I don't see, every time I sit down in front of my computer, it's like going to the movies. And I'm copied on every award, every notice to proceed. I do see joint ventures, majority, minority joint ventures. What I don't see is joint ventures of a collective of XPEs that I think is missing. That's a strategy that's not being employed And you know I've been talking about it because I've been talking about it with you. So I think opportunities are being missed by the XBEs because they look oftentimes to the majority prime to get support, to get access to opportunities. What I don't see, what I need to see, what I'm asking you to do is to partner up with each other. That's a strategy that I don't see being employed.
So I'm currently a CMC on a project with a majority partner.
With a majority firm.
Correct.
I know that.
And, it's going very good because we are in charge of the entire process. And we're managing the entire process. We might have some oversight, but it's just because it's kind of a test pilot, right?
Sure.
The fabric of our state has been this very same thing. But I asked that question so you can point that out, of these different XBEs getting together to form that type of strategy to tackle on some of the different projects you have. So every college, university represented here today, I wanted them to hear that, because there's an opportunity to find these XBEs to partner or joint venture together to take on some of the professional service opportunities that's out there.
There is some warm interest, look, I'm just talking about just the construction space right now. There is some warm interest with a group of XBEs who have heard the noise that I'm making and they want to explore it. Excuse me. InnoPower, City of Indianapolis, have a pilot program with trucking companies, a joint venture contract. We met, talked about this, exploring it to be beyond just trucking, but to take on and assemble companies together and other trades to create an official joint ventures, Secretary of State registered with an operating agreement, et cetera. I'm not talking about a handshake.
That's right.
I'm talking about a formal agreement where you've got specific trades strategically set up, all with equal ownership, policy, equal vote, and park it. Park it, look at opportunities, continue to do business the way that you typically do. But when there is an opportunity that encompasses the trades of all of the members of the joint venture, you go after that as a prime joint venture.
Yeah. And I'm just, I just wanted you to speak it out. I didn't know if it was proprietary to what you're doing, but it'd be great for your colleagues to understand and hear that.
Thank you, I am
as
making a
well.
lot of noise about
Yeah.
it. Yes, I know. And the other thing that doesn't happen is what's happening now
Absolutely.
in the marketplace, because we have, companies can grow organically over time. And I've seen MBEs grow organically over time, and WBEs too. And then they get bought out.
Yeah.
They get purchased. And so those of us who are in the marketplace as XBEs need to get ahead of that, as far as I'm concerned, and acquire those companies. Acquire them. I've seen at least 2 major companies that we currently did business with, still do business with them, XBEs, but have been purchased. So they're no longer XBEs. And it's a lot of spend that we're not able to report.
Yeah.
So there are certain organizations, investors, who are looking at this noise that I'm trying to make to see if there are companies that are on the marketplace to be acquired. And we can do it both ways: acquire an XBE so it stays to be an XBE, or acquire a non-XBE company and convert it to an XBE.
If I may, for respect of time, we have one last question.
Yes, first off, that's what I was asking earlier on through the presentations. You're doing it. Second piece is, I've learned something today. Each university has a different way of doing what they do. Like your spend may be, you can do up to 10,000 without a bid. Another university may be 20,000. Does that hamper your numbers compared to the other universities?
It depends on the total spend, I believe. I think in this last report, our total reportable spend is around $85 million. Okay. And our percentages are low because of that. So if your reportable spend is reduced, and that's something we had to fix because we had a couple of quarters there where we were evaluating dollars that were being spent and reported that should not have been on a report because there's no opportunities for XBE participation based on the type of spend that they were. So we've gone through that. We have some great business analysts that have helped us reevaluate all the dollars that we spend on everything, and we filtered out those dollars that are being spent that should not be reportable dollars anyway, national companies, et cetera, where there's no opportunities for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Are we done?
Yes,
Maybe.
You sure?
positive. Thank you so
For
much for your
those of you that
time.
heard that, if you want to talk, I'll hang around.
See, this is why he goes last. All right, so Commissioner Crawford, our Business Development Outreach Manager, Tyler Ayers, is controlling the clicker, so just so you know, if you want to tell her next slide.
thank you.
To
Yes.
advance, yeah.
Thanks so much. For those of you who don't know, I'm Libby Crawford. I'm the Director of Equity Initiative Services at NDOT. NDOT is the sole disadvantaged business enterprise, or DBE, certifier in the state of Indiana. You can go to the next slide. This is our current DBE certification data through the end of May. We have 785 current certified DBEs. We do have expedited certification with the city of Indianapolis, and we have had 53 new applications in 2024. Our total number of applications processed to date is 304. You can go to the next slide. Here's the important part. On April 9th, after approximately 2.5 years of waiting, the U.S. Department of Transportation finally announced that it was going to update and modernize the DBE rules. The U.S. DOT gave no notice to anyone, including the certifiers. So it's been a fun month and a half, just learning about the new rules, how the new rules will be implemented, how our systems need to change to take in those impacts. And so through the end of the summer here, we'll be having webinars with US DOT about those various subjects. I would say the biggest highlights for me are that we essentially now have nationwide reciprocity with DBEs. It is a very expedited process. You have to be certified in your home state where you're geographically located. And then once you're certified in your home state, you can apply in any other state. That state verifies your certification with your home state, and then they must certify you wholeheartedly. They have to take all of your NICS codes into consideration. So that is a blessing and a curse because it is very easy to get certified, but that does not verify the quality of your work. So it's very important for people to understand that there needs to be complete vetting prior to using DBEs that are coming from out of state. So we'll be having some webinars to discuss those impacts. We have seen a slight increase in applications since the new rule went into effect May 9th, but nothing big or proportionate at this point in time. Now remember that NDOT still has reciprocity with the state of Kentucky. So every DBE that's certified in the state of Kentucky can work in the state of Indiana on federal aid jobs. So there's no impact with that, given the impact of the new rules. We still continue to maintain that agreement because it helps us to widen our pool in a geographically specific and needed area. The other big impact is there is a new supplier category called distributorship, and this is brand new to everyone. And so distributorship is basically that you may not have a public-facing warehouse where you're selling your goods and services, but you are taking control of those goods and services and ensuring them from the point of the warehouse to the point of the job site, and it will qualify for 40% DBE credit. Whereas before that typically would have been brokerage, which would be fees or markups of 7%. So we are figuring that out for sure because our systems will have to change. Our bidding systems, our crediting systems, all of our payment tracking systems have to be accelerated to come up with those new term. And then all of our current DBEs, of course, need to have the ability to apply for that as an amendment as well. So we're working all of those systems out right now and going through all the requirements gathering. So it's a lot of detail right now, and just working through that process. And I'll bring you more details next time as we come, because we've just started that requirements gathering. In the meantime, I put the website here for the new DBE rule and for the webinars. And so if you're interested or you have comments, please bring them back. You can get them to Graham or to Keisha before we meet in September, and I'm happy to discuss any points you'd like to discuss, commissioners. But we are certainly, is trial by fire right now. We are learning as we're going, so. But happy to answer or get answers to questions that you may have about that. You can go to the next slide. BUI Roads is having a second class in Evansville in August. If you know of folks that are interested in that class, that is an upskill program for heavy highway construction introduction. We had 13 graduates for our May class, and I'm happy to say that all of those folks are employed in jobs. So that is a big win for us. We are getting ready to start our program at Madison Women's Prison. It's starting in July. A big thank you to our partners. We just had an interest meeting there at the prison last month, and we had 50 women that are interested in enrolling in our first class. So we're very excited about that. We're also going to be partnering with prime contractors because they have work release abilities there. So we will have primes that will be able to teach these women skills, hands-on skills, while they're also gaining their skilling credentials. So we're very, very excited about that. And then the high school space, we have 3 separate courses for students. So we have a junior year internship that gives exposure to heavy highway construction, a postgraduate senior year internship, and then our recent high school graduates are also in 2 districts. And I'm happy to say that in our most recent class, these are very small, 5 to 10 students in each of these cohorts. We had 2 students that graduated from our first high school pilot that are now full-time NDOT employees. So we're really excited about that. Those are kids that chose not to go to college. They were really wanted to get into the trades, and this is a good way for them to start. So we're really excited about that. I think that was the last slide. It's been a little while since I did this Instagram. So any questions that you have? Oh, Art, you know what? I'm so sorry. I forgot. So if you do not know, NDOT has to give Federal Highway a report 2 times a year that shows what we are attaining on our DBE goal. That's due June 1st and December 1st each year annually. We just submitted the report for June, and our current DBE goal, our overall DBE goal, still remains 10.2%, but our achievement currently is 12.1%. So happy to report that. We will be launching our disparity study this year for a new 3-year goal that will begin August of 2025. So please look for announcements, and I'll get to Keisha and Graham when we have our public our launch date and then our public outreach to gain comments about the goals. I'll get that to all commissioners and of course to the public, so you're welcome to attend that. We will have in-person and virtual options so we can give the widest availability possible to people. So we are looking to try to wrap up our disparity study by the end of this calendar year because my partner at Federal Highway is retiring at the end of the year, and he has been here for 25 years. So we're trying to get things done so that Ken Woodruff is retiring at the end of the year. So my partner is retiring, and so we're trying to get everything done that we can be done because we don't know how long we'll be without somebody. So we'll get those dates to you as soon as we have them, Keisha. And BBC has been commissioned to do the disparity study again, so folks are familiar with that organization. Yeah. Any questions you have, I'm happy to answer them.
Commissioners, Madam Chair, any questions? All right, thank you. Next up, we have the Deputy Commissioner's update from the Indiana Department of Administration, Division of Supplier Diversity. For those of you who are not familiar with me, I am the Deputy Commissioner for the Division of Supplier Diversity. Next slide, please. So we had one of our largest events this year, and it wasn't largely attended, but when I say large, I mean it was huge. We had our Pitch Perfect workshop. And kudos to our business development and outreach team. So we had over 55 people in attendance for this workshop. Yes. So, and most of the vendors that you see here today, they attended that. And this was participant-led. It really hinged upon their participation. So we had panelists come and give information about how they can enhance their current elevator pitch. And then at the end, we had a hot mic pitch moment. And so over 55 in attendance, and over half of that got up to give their pitch. So it was an awesome and very well attended event. As we're looking at our social media, so I take it that all those who attended, they heard about it from our social media posts that we are putting out there, which are great, but we have increased by 78%, which is awesome. So our presence there, if you are not following us, please do so. That's where you can find out about not just our events, but our partner events. And as Libby mentioned, their outreach for their disparity study. If you are in the supplier diversity community this year, you will hear a lot about disparity study. So the city of Indianapolis is putting theirs out, NDOT, and then we also will be releasing our disparity study RFP this year as well. We just want to highlight a couple of events that we have coming up. We have Indiana Black Expo. State Day is June 25th. You do not want to miss out on that workshop. That is our preparation meeting opportunity workshop. We'll have 4 panelists there to talk about what opportunities they have and if there's any certifications required to take advantage of those opportunities and where you can find them. And then please save the date for our 16th annual business conference and B2B Bold Expo. So that's a networking opportunity. Last year, over 400 attended. You do not want to miss out on this networking opportunity. Again, it is October the 11th. Certification updates. For those who are not familiar with our office, we certify minority, women, and veteran-owned businesses who are looking to participate on state contracting opportunities. We are staying well below the 90-day statutory requirement. So what that means is after we have received a complete file, and if an on-site is necessary, we have up to 90 days to render a decision regarding certification. We are currently at 37 days. We continue to send out certification expiration reminders. I think that has been a large part of retaining our certified vendors. Our numbers were going well below what we like to see, but it has started to, we have seen an uptick in keeping those certified vendors. I think that is due in part to the expiration reminders. The certification team is working with the state educational institutions. So commissioners, Madam Chair, just so that you know, we are working closely with all of the state educational institution reps that you saw present here today. If it is not just by conversation or having a meeting to see how they can increase their certified vendor pool, we are partnering with them on a workshop. We went to, as Marcus Bickle mentioned, we went to Madison, Indiana. We partnered with them on a workshop there. So different educational opportunities that we have to get to the vendor communities in their area. We are more than welcome to do that. We attend Rogers Call every week where we have a presence there. So we are maintaining and massaging that relationship with our state educational institutions. Next slide, please. Then our compliance updates. We continue to audit our contracts that have minority, women, and veteran-owned participation. We are the only approvers for the removal, addition, or subtraction to any of the certified vendors that are participating on state of Indiana contracts. So we audit those to make sure that those vendors who were awarded the contracts for utilization of certified vendors, they are doing just that. They are utilizing those vendors. If ever there's an issue, they all know that they can come to our office and we can work things out. Hopefully that it ends amicable for everyone. And the compliance team is working with the procurement team this year. The IDOA procurement team is bringing back their vendor fair. So we will be working with them to present on just the processes of what it is and our role on state of Indiana contracts. So being the approving authority or what it is, it looks like for us to be involved in that process. So working closely with that team to raise awareness about supplier diversity participation. And I believe that is my last slide. Commissioners, Madam Chair, any questions for me?
Thank you, Keisha.
Go easy. Go.
I am one of the easiest people. I don't know where I get that reputation from. No, Keisha, I do. First of all, let me say that for someone who's worked in this area professionally, you guys have done a great job of keeping the application time period at a 37 days is unbelievable. I think,
Thank you.
you know, you should be commended for that. When I started this process, it was 6 months in the making to get an application approved. Yeah, maybe. But I do have one question because during the legislative session, there was a discussion about changing some rules with the certification process. And from what I understand, you don't do, correct me if I'm wrong, this is where my question goes. You don't do on-sites based on the geographic location of the company, am I correct? When do you guys do, what's the policy for doing on-site visits to applicants?
Yeah, great question.
Yeah,
So we do them
thank
by industry type.
Okay.
And we do them virtually. So
Okay.
construction, trucking, suppliers, brokers, we do virtual on-site visits.
Okay, so the on-sites are virtual, they're not in person, and I can't imagine how you could get to 37 days without, having to go travel to do that, right?
Right.
Okay, I'll ask you another question after we did it, because I think this is important to know, because either we need to provide more service, more resources to the department to do on-site, because I think they're important. There are companies that I know have been denied by other certifying agencies because of on-site visit, and sometimes you can't get that same feeling when you're not there in person. And I'm not saying it's a matter of resources. You got to have the manpower to go look at these companies and go on the on-sites. And I remember that was one of the things that really hindered the process back in the day. So we got to figure out how we keep the integrity of the program, but at the same time, don't affect your efficiency, because I think that's important as well. So we probably need to have some legislator discussions. Thank you. Thank you for that, though, and good job.
It
Thank
sounds
you.
like he wants to give you a lot of money.
He does. That's what it sounds like,
With the
right?
hot mic, we just dropped the mic.
Well, here, okay, we're gonna do that. Then the governor has the president, somebody down there on the end next to Keisha. She could, if she wants to. I'm playing. I ain't putting you in that spot.
One thing I will say, if I may, Madam Chair, is that I don't do it all alone. I sit here representing a whole team of people behind me. So Business Development and Outreach team is led by the director, Graham Melendez. He has 2 business development and outreach managers, Tyler Ayers, Austin Van Wagner.
Right.
And then we have, I can't not let my team be noticed. And then for contract compliance, we have, and when we say auditing, we have one person that is auditing these contracts and manning the participation of these contracts. Eli Sturgeon is our contract compliance manager. I always tell people, if you have to hear from Eli, then you're not having a good day. So make sure you don't have to hear from Eli. And then we have our certification team that's led by our director of certification, Peter Sobin. And we have 2 certification specialists, Amanda Willis and John Marchant. And then definitely last but not least, the first person that you meet when you call or if you come into the office is our office administrator, Jaleesa Harvey. We all work really hard to keep the numbers up, to get the word out about what it is that we do. So we appreciate the compliments. We appreciate, your support and everyone that backs us, and definitely appreciate Chair Wilson and Dr. Hallwarder. They are definitely, 10 toes down for whatever it is that the Division of Supplier Diversity needs. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Keisha. I know we have a couple minutes left. Is there any new business someone would like to bring to the floor? All right.
I have something. I don't need the mic.
Oh, I'm sorry. New business is for Madam Chair and Commissioners.
But we're happy to talk
Not
with you
you,
afterwards. Anything from the commissioners? All right, well, I want to thank everyone for being here. Appreciate the time that each of you put into it. I know many of you have to drive many hours. There's lots of pages of information in the packet, and just really appreciate your support and your dedication and your encouragement for the Supplier Diversity team and also our state education institutions. Go.
All right. University policies, competition and sourcing. This is all public information. Fin purchase number 3. It's all the purchasing policy statements based on the threshold of bidding, competitive bidding.
Okay.
Thank you. And if anyone has any questions about this, they can come and see you afterwards. And they could.
Send a link to Graham, and I asked him to send it to all the commissioners.
And so commissioners and everyone will be here after the meeting. So if anyone has anything that they want to talk about, then you'll be able to talk with them. So new business is for the commissioners. And so afterwards, we'll be here for anyone to come and talk to us if you have anything that you would like to talk about.
I would like to ask for a point of privilege to have something given to the record. If you might.
Sure.
I'm Dr. Supplier, President and CEO of the Mid-States Minorities Council. We just wanted to make sure that we recognize that Don Jones, the original CEO and president of the organization, became Mid-States Minorities Council, recently passed away. And we are recognizing him to celebrate his
Wow. Don Jones, this guy created.
Other thing to mention is that the Minorities Council will be developing an annual award in his honor called the Don Jones Legacy Award.
Thank you. Thank you.
And this meeting is adjourned.
Well, we had one other commissioner.
I just wanted to say that we're all here for the sake and the success of supplier diversity. So with that being said, some of the numbers are obviously low. And so what I wanted to do was make sure that everyone is aware that InnoPower, some of the partnerships that you can have, InnoPower, IEDC, there's your chambers. You have the Queen City Women in Business, BOI, Mid-States, WeBank, clearly IDOA, as well as the commissioners are here to assist you. So if you have any problems or issues, we are here. Reach out to us. And with that being said, I hope that we have some really good news and the numbers are up next time.
Yes, thank you. If you came in and did not stop by the registration table, please do so. Thank you.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.